Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm always good because we're still talking football. We don't stop over here. And we're talking top 20 tight ends for the rankings. As we sit today, as we get closer to our fantasy football drafts, it is getting exciting. Tight ends very difficult. Outside of what maybe the top 6, you got a little bit of a question. Maybe top 7, top 8 now this year with the youth movement moving up the board. But we do got some question marks at the tight end. I got some good ones, man, that I'm willing to wait on. You guys know how I draft. You saw my mocks. I always usually wait for my tight end unless I absolutely see guys that I really want. I'm definitely waiting for the value at tight end. But let's start off with number 1, Sam Laporta, Laporting his way to the top of the board, staying there at the top of the board. 10 TDs, almost 900 yards, 86 receptions. Just an absolute baller campaign. Should absolutely pick up where he left off. Funny thing is, he did that at only a 58% boom rate clip. If he gets into that 70% boom rate, my goodness, we could see an absolute stellar performance from this 23-year-old tight end who is the number 1 ranked fantasy tight end for me going into 2024. Number 2, Mark Andrews. Yes, I'm doing it, and I'm stamping my flag on the fact it's going to be King Henry, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. That's the offense in Baltimore with everyone else sprinkling in their talents outside of that. Mark Andrews should see an absolute resurgence back to what we know he is at the tight end spot, and he should at least finish as a top 4 tight end, barring any injuries. It's always barring any injuries, but I mean, 544 yards and 6 TDs, that is not Mark Andrews. I absolutely expect him to be up back into the 850 range with at least 8 to 10 touchdowns this season. Travis Kelce, number 3. Feels a little dirty, but we saw, he saves himself for the playoffs, took a little bit of, game off in the season, and I foresee that happening from time to time once again. Yes, they will utilize him, but I think they want to start to, adjust this offense to be with their speedy talent in a Hollywood, with Rashee Rice, with Worthy. They're going to have opportunities to exploit defenses with their speedy wide receivers and the running game, so I think, they can save and utilize a Travis Kelce in certain ways. I just think the days that we know what Travis used to be, even though 93 receptions from last season, almost 1,000 yards, nothing to sneeze at. I just think we're in the midst of seeing the regression happen for this future Hall of Famer. Still top 5 fantasy tight end. Without question, he's going to be very good once again. Youth movement time. I'm saying Dalton Kincaid at number 4, but it's interchangeable with a Trey McBride. If you got McBride above a Kincaid, I do not fault you whatsoever because it's very, very close. It's like splitting hairs, 1A type of situation. Just the Buffalo Bills, man, they got to have one guy that they're going to be keying in on, and I do believe it's going to be a Dalton Kincaid. They have this offense utilized with a double tight end sets, the 12-man personnel, running the football quite a bit, play-action pass with a Josh Allen. Kincaid definitely needs to find his way into that end zone that much more. Guys like Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir pulling coverage away from a Kincaid, I think is going to be very, consistent in how this offense is definitely going to move. Kincaid is a big guy, and he's going to do big things in this Buffalo Bills offense. Likewise with a Trey McBride, now with a Marvin Harrison Jr., 81 receptions, should see a little bit of a haircut, you want to believe, as more target share will go to a Marvin Harrison Jr. and company. But Trey McBride proved he's going to be one of the bigger, better tight ends in this league for years to come. Both him and Kincaid, 24 years of age, they are just scratching the surface of what they're going to become in the NFL. Number 6, Kyle Pitts. Again, like I said in previous shows, this is the final season. If Kyle Pitts can't do it with somebody like a Kirk Cousins at the helm, I don't know what to tell y'all, because I really do have belief and hope that Kyle Pitts will be that dude this year with a Kirk Cousins. He is only 23 years of age, and there was raw abilities and raw tendencies that we knew of. He wasn't the best running blocker at the tight end spot. He's more of the pass-catching weapon. So utilize him as that big slot, mismatch plays. They just couldn't get him the football with the Desmond Ridder and company. I think that we're going to see absolutely that corrected with a Kirk Cousins. Kyle Pitts should see huge career numbers this season. That's why I got him here at number 6. Number 7, George Kittle. 30 years of age, he's an absolute beast, man. Especially when you watch that receiver show on Netflix, you can't help but like a George Kittle. He's one of those dudes you'd absolutely be friends with and go party with because he's that fun. and 65 receptions for 10, 20, and 6. We do see time to time he does find his way into the medical room. His numbers do inflate when a Debo does go down with injuries as well. If Ayuk does go to another club, I want to believe we can raise him back up to the top 5 for a George Kittle. At this point, I'm comfortable with number 7, but he's absolutely a top 5 fantasy tight end. He was ranked as the 5th one last season. And there is no question, 5, 6, 7, he's going to hover in that same range once again this year with Brock Purdy. Evan Ingram at number 8, Jacksonville Jaguars, 114 bloody receptions. It was killer, man. Almost 1,000 yards, 4 TDs. So it's going to be Christian Kirk, it's going to be Evan Ingram, and then it's going to be everybody else in this offense. And you know this is going to be the MO with a Trevor Lawrence and how they move the football. That's why they were okay with letting Calvin Ridley walk and bringing in a guy like a Gabe Davis in a supportive role. This is the offense, man. Run the football with Etienne, pass with Kirk, and pass with Ingram. Number 8 seems a little low because he catches 114 passes, but that's going to see a haircut because these guys like Kirk went down with injury. We're going to see how Gabe Davis does fare in this offense, but Evan Ingram at number 8 is absolutely good value for this tight end. Number 9, Pat Freiermuth, the Muth. I'm not getting off this wagon, man. Y'all can do it if you want to. I'm willing to take the risk if Justin Fields is the quarterback here in Pittsburgh. He'll be able to support it to the likes we saw of a Cole Kmet, which will increase Pat Freiermuth's value once again. Based on his ADP, we are getting him for pennies on the dollar, and you can fill the rest of your roster in running backs and wide receivers and get a Pat Freiermuth way down the board. And I'm telling y'all, you're going to love you for it, man. Tight end, or touchdown upside, in the red zone with a George Pickens. It's mismatch central all freaking day. I love me some Pat Freiermuth potentially being a top 12 fantasy tight end with a ceiling of a top 8. I love it, and I am absolutely not going to apologize for it because he is that good. Number 10, David Njoku. Finally, we saw what Njoku could do in this offense last season. He went off 81 receptions, 882, 6 TDs, and at 50% boom rate clip. It's good. I can say we can trust him more so this year than I ever have. Showed that he shored up his hands quite a bit. Not as many drops. He was making bigger plays. I do like me some Njoku at 10. Just don't like him any higher because I'd like those other guys with better value at this point. Number 11, Dallas Goedert. Go there. Philadelphia Eagles dealt with some injury last year, and it's Smitty, it's A.J. Brown, it's Goddard, and now it's Saquon Barkley. This offense is going to move once again, without question, and we'll see how it does go with a Goddard. I mean, 29 years of age is kind of similarly where they were at with a Zach Ertz. You know, do we move on from Zach? Do we play a Dallas? Kind of in that same realm. You want to believe in the next 2 years they're going to be, debating the future of Goddard in this offense. So for me, 11 is definitely fair value. Number 12, Jake Ferguson in this Dallas Cowboys offense. He was good last year. 71 receptions, 761, but he does fade from time to time. He will only 47% on that boom rate. You will see it from time to time. He disappears, and you're like, where the hell are you? I need some fantasy points, and he's nowhere to be found. So for me, 12 in this offense with him and CeeDee Lamb. Don't hate it. But again, limited run game. You want to believe in Dallas. They're going to utilize that tight end spot quite a bit to recreate the run, so Ferguson's value could be very high this season. Number 13, Brock Bowers, rookie time. One of the best tight ends that we've seen come out of college football in a very long time now with these Las Vegas Raiders and Gardner Minshew. Man, you're going to see Devontae Adams have a lot more single ups because of a guy like Brock Bowers. He will own the middle of the field, and he will make a lot of big plays. Going to be one of the best rookie fantasy tight ends that we have seen in a very long time. Love me some Brock Bowers, 13. If you get him as your tight end, you may want to hedge bet for like the first 4 weeks until we know what he really is in this offense, but he should have a very good rookie campaign. Number 14, Luke Musgrave. With all the wide receiver talent they got in Green Bay, Musgrave is one of these dudes we can kind of fade a little bit, but he's got offensive upside for days, and if he can stay out of the medical room, biggest problem I have is just the ceiling upside is very high for a Luke Musgrave. That's why I got him here at 14 over a guy like Cole Kmet at number 15. These Chicago Bears and a Caleb Williams, so many weapons. Where does Cole Kmet kind of slot in here with a Keenan Allen, with a Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift? You got to think he's going to see a massive haircut because of guys like Justin Fields leaving and guys like Caleb Williams able to support wide receivers over the safety blanket of a tight end. 73 for 719. You got to believe that's going to get pulled back to at least, 50 at most, 450 in yards, maybe 5-7 TDs. Like, that's kind of where we're going with a Cole Kmet. So definitely take it with a grain of salt. I think there are better options at this point just because of circumstantial, roster construction in Chicago. Too many mouths to feed. Cole Kmet gets bumped down my board just a little bit. Likewise with a Dalton Schultz, he is a very good quality tight end. So many bloody mouths to feed in that wide receiver room. In a Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. He's going to get his, games from time to time, but you got to think it's going to be at a 25%, 1 out of 4, where he's going to be, the primary game planned option for a CJ Stroud. So that's why I got him at number 16. Still very good quality tight end for me. Just too hard to trust on a weekly basis. Dalton Schultz likely better as that matchup tight end this season. Number 17, TJ Hawkinson. Only reason he's at 17, when the hell is he coming back from that injury? We do not know. We've seen guys, I believe it's 9 months. He's going to be back in September. That's too early, man. I get it. The changes in technology and ACL recovery. You're telling me 9 months this guy plays one of the more physical positions, is going to be ready to ball out, especially with a guy like Sam Darnold behind center? They're going to let him heal up, man. So at 17, fade TJ Hawkinson this year until further notice, till we hear more. Don't like what's going on in Minnesota because they just don't have that quarterback. J.J. McCarthy was supposed to be that guy. Right now, for me, TJ Hawkinson likely better off sitting on the bench to heal up, and I think the Vikings coaching staff and brain trust will probably do the same now that they got Sam Darnold behind center. Number 18, Ben Sinnott. I'm a big supporter, rising up my board. Rookie in Washington, former fullback convert. This guy's a beast, man. If you guys will see him, go watch his college film, and you will be absolutely pleasantly surprised. He's physical. He's got athletic ability. Hands are like glue. Finds his way into the end zone. Gets some yak yards. This guy is good stuff, and I think he will, force his way onto the field quicker rather than later. Right now, you can probably fade him still to the waiver wire, but he will likely be a waiver wire gem at some point. So if you do got room for tight ends, especially in Dynasty, always keep Ben Sinnott on your bench. Number 19, Taysom Hill, New Orleans Saints. What do you say, man? He is the football player, quote unquote, not just running back, not just tight end. They will continue to utilize him in New Orleans with Chris Olave, with an Alvin Kamara. So I get it. The reason why people fade a Kamara is because of a guy like Taysom Hill, always vulturing those touchdowns. But at this point, 19, he still gives you some fantasy value without question. And finishing off, number 20, rookie Theo Johnson, New York Giants. This guy is one to definitely watch. I believe he's 6'6", 6'7", built like a damn Mack truck, athletic ability, speed for days. You love to see what he could be. He was dealing with some injury, lost some camp time, so it might not enable him to be on the field early on. But eventually he will showcase the fact of what he is, and you guys will be pleasantly surprised with what a Theo Johnson is. Another potential huge waiver wire pickup, but I'm so, bullish on his game. I got him here at number 20, and I'm definitely comfortable saying that. But there you have it. That is top 20 tight ends as we see them entering our fantasy football drafts. It is exciting. Lots of good ones. You can wait and pause if you miss out on the top dudes like Laporta, Andrews, Kelsey, Kincaid, McBride, Pitts. You can definitely wait down the board and get some better value, stack your roster otherwise, and that's how I usually do it with my tight ends. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.